It's...
Well, happy Saturday. We are live, and it is morning on the West Coast and afternoon on the East Coast, but we're still calling it Saturday morning fun time because I don't wake up till 11 anyway, so fuck it. It's still morning to
me. You can wake up anytime. You can play this tomorrow morning again, early in the morning, and while you're eating your cereal, watch us.
Yeah. Normally, I'm having a big, hefty bowl of breakfast cereal because I like big bowls. I got my bowl and my spoon.
Hey, and I'm drinking my beverage. So.
Yeah. And I have my caffeine in the shape of caffeinated water.
Oh, man. See, you make me feel bad because I have green tea. So,
yeah, there's healthy stuff in there that fights cancer, but past that, I have no use for green tea. So once again, it's Saturday morning, and we're here to talk about some stuff. And what kind of stuff is that? It's nerd stuff. That's what it is. We're going to be discussing some of the shows that have premiered on different streaming services, and it's you can't even call them networks anymore. They're just studios. Mm-hmm. Reacher, of course, is Amazon Studios. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to talk about the Book of Boba Fett. I think we should probably go over each episode and what we thought of it. And Raised by Wolves is now starting its second season on Amazon. I'm sorry, on HBO Max. And another show over on HBO Max, of course, is Peacemaker, which, as much as I make fun of it for its clunky nature and forgettable storylines, I'm actually enjoying the shit out of that show. I'm laughing at it. I did not expect him to do with Peacemaker what he did after what Peacemaker did in his movie. And I'm not a big fan of the movie. Look, Operation Starfish, and then it's a fucking giant starfish. I know he's just trying to be fucking funny. He's one of those guys. He reminds me of some of my friends in high school that were kind of funny, but not long-lasting funny, where you're like 20 years later go, man, I remember when that guy said that. God, that was something else. Yeah, he's not one of those guys. He really isn't. He really hit the bullseye with his Guardians of the Galaxy, because everything in that works. And, and you got to give credit to the cast on that too, for making it work the way it does. Whereas his other stuff is just, it's entertainment. It's pure entertainment. It's fun, but it's not as memorable as his work with Guardians.
Yeah.
And it's just that simple. Now, is that Kevin Feige that pushes him to do it that way? Maybe. I don't know. I think he probably, because he backseat directs, you know that.
Oh, yeah.
Feige's on top of everything.
He has to be. And that is both a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing about it is this has been the formula that they've used that has brought them all this success that they have had. Unprecedented success within the realm of entertainment. But the downside is that there are several very talented people that have chosen not to work with the MCU or Marvel in general because of the way that they do things. So you're missing out on people like Edgar Wright, who, again, I will say...
I love his stuff, man.
To me, I would still like to have seen what he would have done with Ant-Man, but an Edgar Wright Fantastic Four movie, take all my money. Take it all. Because I think he could do it. I think he could do a fantastic job. then again, that's not the first franchise that he almost was a part of. Edgar Wright was originally one of the people that was to have worked with Brian Fuller on Brian Fuller's original version of Star Trek Discovery. He would have directed the pilot. Of course, that was back when everything made sense and the script and the Bible made sense. And then certain people came in, took over, and changed everything. So
certain people came in and ruined it, Brian.
Ruined. Although, can I at least make one major shout out? Because I know we didn't get a chance to discuss it before. I should have, and I'm an idiot because I just thought of it. But for those of you not paying attention, there has been a new video dropped. Okay, so this is new from our friends at the Orville. And they've decided to give us, I think it's a 2-minute clip of the opening episode, and which includes the brand new title sequence. And let me just say, overall, you can see that there's been a lot of money spent on this show. It looks freaking cinematic. The Orville, they just dropped a new Orville video for Hulu. It's on YouTube. You can go find it. It's a 2-minute clip of the pre-title sequence for this episode, leading into the brand new title sequence for the new Orville series. Seth MacFarlane's Orville, otherwise known as Real Trek. And it looks gorgeous. And let me just say, this pre-title sequence that they're doing, it's Seth MacFarlane's take on JJ's Trek, and he does it better than JJ. It's very well done. Very well done. So, wow.
And it dropped one
yesterday.
Day ago.
Yeah. So you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Oh, battle sequence from last season. Yeah, this is the fight from last season. Is this what I'm supposed to be looking at?
I think so. I think the quality of the
you
film.
Watched it, didn't you?
Yeah, but it's also that in the pre-title sequence. So that's from last season. I thought it would have been this season. Okay, well, that's what they dropped.
This is the battle from last season.
Well, they have a new title sequence that they put on. But, anyway.
Okay, here we go. Ooh, Isaac's got teeth. Yeah, look at that intro.
You can definitely tell they've spent some money on it. So, bravo.
Yeah, I know one of the visual effects guys, but I don't want to have him on the show.
So, you can go ahead and find that on YouTube.
Yeah, go ahead, keep talking, man. I'm just watching.
Anyway, for those that haven't been paying attention to this point, to what the Orville has been doing, they've taken some time to work on this new season, and people like me who keep trying to follow anything that they put out there, I think for those that haven't completely given up on it, Twitter is the best place to get new information, because many of the producers, many of the actors, and many of the people that work behind the scenes all put stuff out through Twitter. And if you want to see the latest of what's going on and get a hint as to what to see, Twitter's a really, really good place to go to get all of that. For me, I like some of the cast announcements for this new season.
Absolutely a TNG intro, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That's good stuff.
So Bruce Boxleitner is going to show up on this season of The Orville. So I'm kind of excited about that. But this is, I think it's The Orville New Horizons is going to be a little bit of a game changer if you've been following the Orville up to this point. And again, this is going to look like something that you could easily see on the big screen. And for those of you with really big TVs, you are about to get your money's worth out of watching this show. So overall, what do you think, Big Ben?
Very cool intro, and it's absolutely Star Trek. It is clear. I checked my DMs, Zach. There's nothing else from you. I sent you the link in by DM. I don't see anything else. You responded to it or something. It's not showing it. But I am having internet problems. You know that. So yay. But I'm looking forward to seeing this new season. I'm going to go ahead and show the thing that you sent me this morning, Keith. Share screen, share. There it is. Oh, look. I'll let it take up the whole screen. There we are. Look at that. It says, have you removed your helmet? I have. Then you are a Mandalorian no more. All right, fuck y'all. I'm going to go hang out with Boba Fett. And then she said I wasn't a Mandalorian anymore. You have the Darksaber, bro. Tell her that she's no longer a Mandalorian. Gotta like that. Gotta like that shit, man.
Star Wars is almost back, baby.
Almost.
We're on the road. So let's go ahead and start out with
let's start out with Reacher. Let's get this out of the way. Yeah, Amazon's original Reacher. It's not bad. Shit, dude. It's like it's clearly obvious who they're directing this show at. It's women. And I find it interesting that they have no trouble sexualizing a man. If you were to flip this around and have a woman oiled up and topless walking around all the time, all fucking just muscled up, I mean, it's not impacting you and me.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are like, yeah, okay. It's I don't want to be that guy, but when that happens on screen for me, I kind of find that I feel like this.
Right. Get on with it.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. Look, I think it's safe to say, it's good for everyone to understand that I think they've dropped all episodes of Reacher on Amazon right now.
I binged and watched the entire season.
You can do that. I have seen the first 2 episodes, and I really like what I've seen. This gives
it's not great by any measure of the word, but they had my attention the moment they have the main character go, somebody needs to give me a gun. I'm like, there you go. There's no anti-gun sentiment in it like Lost in Space, which was stupid. We're going to go into space and into the final frontier. All sorts of life out there that could be dangerous. But whatever you do, don't use a gun to defend yourself. It's stupid. And I enjoyed Lost in Space. I love the kid that played Will Robinson. And he's, of course, in the new Reacher series.
He plays young Jack Reacher.
Because I kept looking at him going, man, that kid looks familiar.
Yeah, Maxwell Jenkins, a very good actor. He's definitely got a future.
That sounds like the build up to a joke. Maxwell Jenkins walked into a bar.
He loves doing conventions. I mean, if you're having a convention out there and you can afford to have him, get him to your convention. He loves to see fans.
Yeah, and he loves fans, man. I was reading about him and how fans, because like they'll talk about how nice he is to everybody. Yeah. That's what social media is, in my opinion, best for is fan experiences when they go to cons. I love reading, their reactions with running into the stars of these shows. But Zach said it right there, the prison fight. I do want to talk about the fight scenes. There's a lot of action scenes in this show. And it's uneven. Because like the fight scene in episode 1 was outstanding. Great fucking big fight scene. And nice hand-to-hand combat scenes. And clearly this guy, because he was the first live action Aquaman. People might not remember that. But he was on Smallville and he played Aquaman. And I liked it. I was kind of hoping that he would get his own series, and they were planning it, and then it just dumped it. I think that they were trying too hard to Smallville everything, and instead of branching out. And so eventually Berlanti came in, and he kind of branched out a little bit, but in a way I didn't like. He basically turned Green Arrow into Batman 2.0 instead of making it, Green Arrow.
Well, I mean, the thing with this particular actor is that after losing out on becoming Aquaman for the Smallville producers, he just went ahead and had a career. Was in the Hunger Games, Catching Fire.
And he clearly beefed up for this role, by the way.
Oh, well, he's been beefed up for a while.
Well, the last time I saw him, I'm just saying, the last time I saw him, he was muscular. But he's clearly got between 18 and 20 inch arms. That's bigger than your average man's thigh.
Well, he did the television series Blood Drive, which comes highly recommended by our good friend Brittany. And but the big thing was he eventually wound up on Supergirl, and he was Hank Hawk. And
I can't watch that show after season 1.
Yeah, and then he ended up on Titans playing the same part, Hawk of Hawk and Dove.
That's right. I forgot he was Hawk in that. Yeah, Hawk and Dove. He was good. Oh my God, he was one of the best characters. Well, because he was a full-fledged adult, so when he cussed, it was better. Hey, Flaccid Phoenix, what's up, Das Wolfen? Hey, buddy, glad you're here.
Good morning, everybody, or should I say good afternoon?
It's good morning and good afternoon because we're broadcasting across the country. So Flaccid Phoenix, that would be interesting to see a question series. I would like to see that.
Right? Whoa, about a question series?
Yeah.
I was saying this the other day online. The perfect person to direct a question movie.
Yeah, I was there when you said it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright would be the perfect
Edgar Wright would be the best person to run that. That's right. But going back to Reacher, the fight scenes are uneven. It's depending on who's directing, because I think it was the third or fourth episode, there was a fight scene, and it was so clunky the way they choreographed it. I mean, he was doing his part, but they shot from angles that were weird, and they did 3 cuts per movement. There would be 3 quick cuts per movement, and that is junk editing. That is a terrible way to shoot an action scene. People want to see the action. They don't want action cuts. They want the action scene. They want to see the actor doing it. And I think that director that was in charge of that episode did a piss poor job of doing a fight scene. Just terrible. And so it was episode to episode, depending on who's directing, how the action went. And I think that's a mistake. I think your fight coordinators, the people who choreograph these fight scenes for the show, should be more in charge of how it's shot than the director.
Yeah.
Because they know more about the action scene than the director does. And I know a few of my director fans will be like up in arms about that, but you got to trust your fucking fight coordinators. You have to trust them. And clearly he did not trust the fight coordinator on that one. And going all the way through the show, one of the final fight scenes was in an alleyway and went up. What do you call it? The stairs, the outside of buildings in New York. Fire escape. Is that it?
Yeah, the fire escape
takes place on a fire escape, multiple fire escapes, and it's actually a really good fight scene, and I love the ending of that fight scene.
Without trying to give away too much.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what happens.
Who haven't seen it.
Just saying obviously, if you know Jack Reacher, there's going to be a fight scene every fucking episode, so I'm not giving anything away. But I am going to say something about the final. There's always, it's Jack Reacher. There's going to be a final battle with the Apex bad guys. Clunky ending. It was so cliche with everything it did in the final episode, and that annoyed me. It just really, well, like Khan says, he tasks me. I felt very tasked watching that final episode. No, it was fulfilling. Don't get me wrong, but Chuck Dixon writes better endings than that ending of the show. I'm curious what Chuck Dixon thinks of that final episode. I'm going to talk to him about it too, privately, because my reaction was his Levon character is very Jack Reacher-like, and I'm curious, how he would have written that final battle. And what bugged me is it hit the checkbox again, where the show has a checkbox element to it. We have a black detective. We have a female police officer, love interest, who all three of them are lead characters in the show. We often leave Reacher to go follow them and their story.
Yeah. Well, it seems like...
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. It's good because they're good actors. But I see, I can always see what they're doing, what Bezos and his fucking Amazon is doing. Netflix, when they're doing it, it's like, it's clear you're fucking pandering to the lowest common denominator to check your boxes instead of focusing on telling good stories. But the fact is, this is a good story. It's a fun story. It's a revenge story. Actually, there's several revenges in it. And I felt that was kind of like almost inundating. It's like, why so much revenge? And I also dislike that one character you see shot on camera, but you don't see his body, just miraculously shows up at the perfect fucking moment without any explanation. No explanation of how he got there right at that exact specific moment where it was necessary. That is called, what is that called, Keith, when you do that in writing and film and television? It's called Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's where you're forcing something and the audience notice it. It's just, it's one of the little problems I had. I'm hoping they do better second season, but this should get a second season. It's fucking good. It's entertaining. Yes. It's not great. But that's Amazon's. Let me go ahead and show that graphic one more time.
Jack Reacher or Reacher.
It's just called Reacher, and he's fucking good, man. He's a good actor. I like him. I like him as the character. Now we'll move on to. I almost want to save the best for last, so we're going to move on to Raised by Wolves. It has started its second season on HBO Max. And it is Ridley Scott at his fucking best again, doing really good science fiction. And I think because this is a family venture, all of the Scotts are involved with this, all of his kids. And it's a well-written, well-produced, well-acted. The effects are astoundingly good. This is cinematic. And
next level stuff,
and the science is good, and it's also discusses the mindset differences between atheists and those who are religious without bringing up Christianity, In this one, the god is referred to as Sol, which means sun. And atheists believe that it is only through pure science that we survive. And so there's this great question, and there's a mystery going on. Where's this voice coming from that the religious are hearing? And as we learn, also the robots hear it too. This voice. So, and now the posed question in episode 1 of season 2 is, it might be a signal that is for humans, but maybe also for cyborgs when we go into that realm, that digital realm that they go into. And so I'm curious where it's going. I love this science fiction, and it's dark. It's heavy. There's no fun to be had. This is not George Lucas style sci-fi. This is fucking hardcore science fiction.
Well, this isn't regular Hollywood sci-fi. This real, as you said, this is what science fiction is. Mm-hmm. And the great thing about this show, as you pointed out before, is it has a very cinematic quality and look on all levels, from the actors down to the way that it is shot. This is a show that is well thought out, well acted, and isn't trying to be shocking to be shocking. It's appropriate for the story that they are telling. This is a science fiction drama, so it isn't meant to be poppy. It isn't meant to be something that is where you can show it to kids easily. It's just a good.
Yeah, this is not a kid show. You need to be at least above puberty to be watching the show. What's up, awesome one? Glad you're here, and thanks again, Flaccid Phoenix, for being here as well. I see that Decepticon's Cave of Villains is here. We're going to be talking about Vox Machina next week. Deanna, my wife, is going to join the show and do a review of the show because we watch it together, and I'm getting a massive fucking kick out of that show. It's good fantasy, and it's serious at times, but it is fucking hilarious. I laughed my butt off at some of the scenes in that. Great fucking writing on that show. Not going to talk any more about it. That'll be for next week. Oh, we got a porn bot. Hello, porn bot. Goodbye, porn bot. And I also agree with you. I've always been a fan of the Charlton comics. And we're going to talk about the Charlton comics a little bit when we get to Peacemaker. But once again, we're talking about Raised by Wolves. And who are the wolves? I mean, this is the fascinating thing. This show deals with the elements of what Lost in Space was supposed to be dealing with, new frontiers in space, how dangerous it can be. And do you think that they're unarmed? Fuck no. They're armed to the hilt. And in the new season, we get to see some new characters that have come. And I like their costumes, very medieval looking. And because there's elements of this. And it's funny because I watched Ridley Scott's, the first act of Ridley Scott's feminist movie, and it was just horrible. I could not believe he got that kind of talent and made such a shitty film. The Last Duel. I mean, this is a historical event. I felt like it should have gotten a little better treatment than what he did. And I expect better from Ridley Scott, but really falters all the time. It's his script. Whoever wrote the script is going to determine if it's going to be a good film or not. And I think it's a shitty script. So that's my opinion.
Well, I mean,
but again, on this show, it's hitting on all because his kids again are involved. So he's not the last voice on this. His kids are very talented filmmakers.
Yeah, the way I see this show overall, it's like a cheaper Warhammer type series is what it is, without getting into all of the technical stuff. And again, let me just say officially, if anybody wants to make a Warhammer film, I'm all for it. There are a lot of fans out there that want to see it. Number one is Henry Cavill would love to be cast in it. So
yeah, he's such a nerd.
He is. He is unapologetic. I love the fact that he's very unapologetic about being a nerd. So, but Raised by Wolves is just one of those shows that is part of the new aesthetic of really getting good, solid science fiction out there, and military. Part of it just almost borderlining on military science fiction, but not heavily.
Yeah.
But I think what Ridley Scott and his family have produced here is a really good, solid foundation for what others who come along after should be able to do. I think it's time that science fiction evolve in Hollywood and that we start taking everything to the limits of what we can create with our imaginations, both in terms of what we're able to write, the subject matter, as well as the visual effects.
Well, he's proving, because the show's a hit, that serious science fiction can be turned into a show and be popular. It doesn't have to be frivolous sci-fi.
Well, it doesn't have to be soulless and derivative like Kurtzman Trek. And it doesn't have to be something that is completely out there and bonkers and very
hey Kylock, good to see you, buddy.
Getting more out of the shock than it is the substance, which is one of my
we need to get that right there, Keith. A red hat, make sci-fi great again.
Yeah.
We'll wear it on the show. I fucking want to get it. That's great. Thanks, Blast.
That's what
stealing your idea.
That's what Westworld had become. You know,
season 1. Yes.
But I mean, season 2 and on is what I was describing as what not to do with science fiction after a while.
Exactly.
Where you kind of
it was just like, what are you fucking doing? You derailed your own show.
You know, I think they got frightened by the direction that they were going with the first season and the implications of it. And so when you see something like Raised by Wolves, it wants you to embrace, no matter how scary it may seem, the direction that you're going down.
Well, if you're going to do serious sci-fi, you have to be fearless.
Yeah.
When you start broaching subjects, you have to approach them with a fearless attitude. You can't start getting skittish. And clearly, Ridley Scott's family, they're fearless when it comes to doing sci-fi, and I like that. You know, a chip off the old block. But you know, we've talked about this long enough. I think we should probably.
And now for something completely different.
Exactly. So we will move on to our next subject, because I will talk about Ridley Scott all fucking day. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Peacemaker. Again, Peacemaker. I fucking, you know, look, man. This is not some show that 100 years from now they're going to look back on going, man, they made fucking art with that. It is not. This is one of those shows, enjoy it while you can, because it's just pure fucking fun. It's not intelligent writing, but it has a heart. I will give it that. It's got a heart. I didn't expect that, because he tends to be kind of a dick about that. I mean, everybody, you know, gives him all the credit for Guardians of the Galaxy, and really, he does deserve a majority of it. But Kevin Feige is the backseat director of that film, and that's why I feel it's the better of his work as a director, writer. And Peacemaker and his DC run with the Suicide Squad. Both of them go hand in hand, and they do plot wise too. They're very connected. Peacemaker begins at the end of his movie. I'm not a big fan of his film. I thought it was clunky and dumb. I didn't like they replaced Will Smith. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. He's just fucking amazing. But that should have been Will Smith. I'm sorry. It was dumb doing that. I also disliked the way he killed off the characters that he shouldn't have killed off. And I don't think he understands Amanda Waller at all. I don't think that character needs to be handled by somebody that fucking understands her. And I don't think he gets her at all. And he kind of writes her off. You notice she doesn't take up much screen time.
Yeah.
She's just used as a device to push people going. And that's a deep character, Amanda Waller. Horrifying character.
Well, it's the same mistake that I've identified on other shows and other episodes, even of our shows, that both Marvel or the MCU especially, and even some of the DC films, they are afraid of all of the non-superpowered characters and the storylines that entails. There is a whole undercurrent
Hi, Sherry.
of spy type characters, the world beneath this one, of characters who aren't exactly gods, but they are people who are capable of some heinous things. And you have within the MCU, you have an entire island dedicated to people that just are able to deal in black market whatever. You got some of that in Shang-Chi, but then they decided to turn Shang-Chi into a superhero rather than as a man of the people that can wander around and do stuff that occasionally has supernatural elements as a part of it. Peacemaker and all of that is also a part of that from the DC side, which is it doesn't necessarily have to be people who can move planets. You know, a lot of your very interesting characters can be characters without superpowers, and they can do things and be a part of storylines that don't necessarily have to be about the end of the world. It could be just about something simple, like people just wanting to control the world. So,
well, and this is the thing, because and by the way, I'm going to address this right here. It gets shit because some people want high entertainment all the time. You won't get that from Keith and I. I mean, we'll call it out. It is it's entertainment. It is pure entertainment, and that's all it is. And I enjoy Peacemaker. I watch I look forward to each episode because despite the fact that I don't think the characters are all that interesting, they have the single greatest character ever created for a superhero show, and it's called Eagly. I fucking love that fucking bird. I can't get enough of it, and I think he was onto something. I love that he throws it in every once in a while. I mean, this last episode, Eagly just knocks the shit out of people. Fucking just like a bull in a china shop, just starts just picking up speed dive bombs and knocks the shit out of people. And I'm just fucking going, oh my God, I want more.
This is James Gunn's version of Grogu, but without having to depend on that
very
character.
Good point. Yes. Yeah. And we'll get into that with our discussion of Boba Fett and all that. But I want to go into this too. Let's see. And I want to greet everybody, by the way. The lovely Sherry is here. Hi. How you doing, Sherry? Flaccid Phoenix. And, of course, our good friend Black Angus Reviews is here. It's good to see you, man. And it has a heart, but it also delivers on what they promised the series would be, unlike other shows on Disney Plus. Completely concur. But we're going to get into that. Hello, Black Angus from work. Hail Flaccid and Sherry. Okay, I see the comma. Okay. I have my glasses on. I can barely see it. And of course, they're saying hi to each other. The Suicide Squad. Yes. All of the movies 2021. And see, yeah, if Marvel if Marvel was smart, they would focus on street level conflicts, Daredevil, Moon Knight. And we're going to see that. We're going to see that.
Well,
I'm looking
but
forward to Moon Knight.
What I am talking about, though, is it's how they changed. You have Black Widow and you have Hawkeye. Now, for people who only know what Hollywood gives you and don't read comics, those two are seen as lesser compared to all the other Avengers, when in actuality,
well, they don't offer the payoff. They don't offer the payoff for building such an interesting character.
Yeah, these two are, out of everybody in the Avengers, these two have probably killed more people than many of them. You know, the things that they have done prior to the Avengers films would set these two up as being everything from secret agents to assassins. They have done things, both of them. And you don't get that kind of a payoff with all of the Disney Plus stuff that you see with Hawkeye, nor with the film Black Widow. And DC also doesn't try to do any of that. They don't lean into these characters that may not be super powered, but they have a lot going on, and they take a lot of shortcuts. They try to take characters that may not be as powerful and try to bump them up as if they were powerful. And in doing that, you lose a lot of the inherent complexity and story that you would have gotten if you had just told those stories. Trust me, you don't need to be able to fly through the clouds or build a suit that you can fly in or have a magic item that you twirl. You can create great conflict with characters that all they have is just a gun. And a good example of that is, say, The Human Target, which was another show that
I enjoyed that show.
They should bring that back.
Yeah, it's such a good show, and he's of course an actual military veteran, and I like that he brought that military bearing with him in his character. I love
that's a part of DC. That's a part of DC, because DC was built by, DC was started by a military man, and so there is a military component to DC Comics where there's a relationship between the military and DC Comics, and also Marvel to a certain extent, but mainly DC Comics, and they should lean into that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. That's, we need to lean into these characters, and they tend to, like with Black Widow and that other film, I just felt like they focused too far on what's coming ahead rather than what they're doing.
Shang-Chi,
Black Widow. What was the line from Star Wars? Never your mind on where you are. Always looking ahead to the horizon. Yoda, fucking Yoda. I want to get back to Peacemaker, because I'm enjoying the show. It's got great comedy. It's got an interesting story. An interesting plot. He actually, because I'm not a big fan of always having plots. Plots aren't necessary to telling a good story, but he brought in an interesting plot with these butterflies, and I like, he's that cheeky kid you knew in school, that the way he comes up with Operation Starfish, and then it's actually a giant starfish. And this Operation Butterfly, and yes, again, they're fucking little butterfly aliens. Those butterfly aliens.
Spoilers for those that haven't seen it.
Oh, yet. Don't. I'm not going to discuss what happened, but I will tell you, if you've not seen this latest episode, go watch it. The final scenes in this one are a big payoff. I fucking love it. Let's get into the intro though, because I love the soundtrack to this show. Glam rock, glam metal of the 80s, and geez Marie, what a fucking great soundtrack for this show. Hey Jace, what was that again about Kyla? Peacemaker is on HBO Max. You guys like? Yeah, we would love a question show. We were talking about that a little bit ago, and I said we'd talk about Charlton Comics, because a lot of people don't know that Peacemaker is the character that the comedian is based on in Watchmen. He's from the Charlton comics.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a character that just sort of, when DC bought Charlton, just sort of went away. You know, they put him in a vault, and permission was given to Alan Moore to reshape some of those old Charlton characters, and that's who the comedian was based on.
And also other characters. I mean, characters like Blue Beetle is a Charlton character, and so is the Question, and so is oh man, so much.
Yes, we're going to get into that intro song, buddy. Let's see. Hold on. God damn it, you guys are chatting faster than I can click. Met some years ago. Yeah. You know, that is a great fucking intro song. And Keith, it was talking before the show that we're going to inevitably start seeing fans remaking the intro. And I see it happening too. I think it's going to happen. Oh, what, Keith? Oh, YouTube. What am I clicking on here?
That's behind the scenes.
Oh, we can't show it though. We can't show it. I'm sure we'll get a claim if I show it. I'd like to, but God damn it, YouTube is being, you know, such a cunt about showing anything. It's like we're educational, really, in the long term. We're educational. We're showing these things to educate people, and we're also helping their fucking shows by showing it. And oh well, fucking YouTube. Let's see. Yes, Peacemaker is. Oh my God, please stop. There we go. Peacemaker. I really need you, Zach, because this stuff's going faster than I can click on it and talk at the same time. HBO Max. Yep, there you go. Watchmen series.
Yes, it is. It is a look. This is a.
I hated the Watchmen series. I hated it. I hated the writing. I hated the racial implications. You know, when you start race baiting, I have a problem, and I'll walk away. I won't watch your show. And that show was way too race baity for me. Keith liked it though.
I liked up until the second half of the show. The first half of the show I thought was good. It was mystery and all that other stuff. What didn't make any sense is I'm a fan of the comic, and the second half of that show made no sense. That storyline made absolutely no sense.
I heard the same thing. I didn't watch it, so once I started getting into the first episode, when I start feeling like somebody's trying to preach at me or point fingers at me, I'm gone. I'm not interested in your fucking guilt shit. Fuck you. Isn't his girlfriend in Peacemaker? Whose girlfriend?
Oh, James Gunn's girlfriend. Yes, she is. She's Hardcourt. The actress that plays Hardcourt, the tough blonde chick. That's James Gunn's girlfriend. So
yeah, she's cute. So much better. Yeah. Okay. So basically, I like the show. Keith likes it. We're enjoying the shit out of it. It's not one that's for the ages. It's. I guarantee you, in 100 years, nobody's going to remember the show because it's not that kind of show.
You want to know really overall, this show, Peacemaker, is kind of like if somebody did a live action version of the animated Harley Quinn, or if it were done by the same people who would do Rick and Morty, or it's like a live action version of all of that. If it were a little more pop, in that it dipped into pop culture more, especially nerd pop culture outside of the DC universe, then that would be a live action version of the Venture Brothers. It would be a lot like that.
It really is kind of in the same vein as far as comedy goes.
Yeah.
And I want to point out something, because before we move on, Keith and I both agree that and Danielle Brooks is really good as Leota, but Amanda Waller having a daughter is fucking stupid. And again, proof that he doesn't understand her character. Again, that character would not have children alive because of the way she is. She could have had children before she was like this, but the way she is now, she'd have nobody. And the thing that we said was she should have been made a niece instead of a daughter. It's dumb having her as a daughter because Amanda Waller is not that kind of character. And it made more sense that she was inducting a member of the family in through a sibling or a cousin. It was stupid having her as a daughter. And you and I had that talk, about 4 or 5 nights ago? That just thought that was dumb. And it makes no sense. And because there's no way that character was raised by Amanda Waller. No fucking way. Her kid, if she had children, they'd be fucked up. They would be sociopathic, fucked up individuals. And Keith and I 100% agree on that. That's fucking crazy. And again, proof again that he doesn't understand Amanda Waller's character at all. That's why she's used as a plot device and not as a character. He doesn't know how to write somebody like that.
I think things will be different, once everything is settled at Warner Brothers. I think once they release the Air cut, I think there'll be a readjustment for a lot of these characters, especially characters like Amanda Waller. So I really do feel that's coming. So
yeah, and now
Snorlord, hey, how's it going? I know you.
Snorlord.
Yeah, I know him.
Who is that?
What's up, buddy? He's a friend of mine.
Okay.
You may have met him a couple times at a couple of conventions.
All right.
Some big man.
Good seeing you in the chat, man. Look forward to meeting you at the cons. Make sure you introduce yourself so I know who the fuck you are. Flaccid
I'll tell you off air.
Who would have had sex with Waller? Yeah, really. Waller clearly has a backstory that she wasn't always like this. She is tied in. Make her this way.
She is tied into the history of DC's the spy version of DC. There's lots of spy characters, lots of characters who are part of that secretive, behind the scenes, James Bondian type world. Well, her mentor is the king of all that, King Faraday. If you saw the animated film Justice League: The New Frontier, there's the guy that works for the government with the silver hair. That's King Faraday. That's Amanda Waller's. That's the guy
Faraday,
that
and all I think of is Faraday cage.
He's the one that brought her in and taught her everything he knew.
Now, I'm going to point out that there is a highlight on the show of one of the characters that I do enjoy, and that's that actor Freddie Stroma. He plays Adrian Chase, also Vigilante.
Yeah.
And I get a kick at him because, he's so nice and he's so pleasant, but he's always so quick and ready to kill somebody that he doesn't need to kill. Pulling out a knife, pulling out a gun. It's like, no, Peacemaker's like, I don't want to go into the character of Peacemaker. I do like what Gunn did with his character, that he's trying to redeem himself.
Make amends. Yeah.
I won't go any further than that because the killing of a certain character who I am a fan of pissed me off that they killed him, and they need to find a way to bring him back because he's a great fucking character. And fucking, I'm going to say it, Flag. Fucking Kinnaman needs to come back. They need to find a way to have not fucking murdered him. It's so stupid to kill such a great character.
I personally think that was what's coming from Warner Brothers. There's going to be a major realignment for a lot of this stuff. I don't see him. If you bring back everything that we saw in the Air cut, then I think Flag can come back because his girlfriend's not going to let him die.
Yeah.
So
I hope so. I got to tell you, Vigilante is annoying, but he's annoying in a very entertaining way. He's written to be annoying, not annoying because we don't like him.
Yeah.
It makes him endearing, and he's funny. And when he's sitting there doing an impression of fucking Eagly, I fucking was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Can you tell which one? And he's sitting next to Eagly. He goes, which one's Eagly? You know, and I'm like, what in the fuck? Is this guy retarded? Maybe mentally retarded.
Remember, this is the James Gunn version of the character, because in the comics, Adrian Chase is actually kind of a ladies' man. You know, this
look, he's gonna shit all over that. He's like Ryan Johnson, you know, when it comes to things. He likes to troll and shit on things. And you either accept it and enjoy it as his version of something, or you can't. And I think with these characters, you can get away with it. You can't get away with it with Star Wars. And that's why Ryan Johnson failed. But I want to say one last thing before we move on to the next thing, which is that opening, fucking great. I love that song. Again, just what a great intro. And when you've got Patrick, you know, the Terminator, fucking doing the flashing in sync with the lyrics down by his crotch, I fucking cracked up laughing. And he's like pumping it, and I'm like, oh my fucking god. Robert Patrick, I fucking love that guy. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. I'm going to show this graphic. We're going to get into it now. The Book of Boba Fett. I've always had faith in Favreau. I really do. Proof of the pudding is the drive that he had in getting The Mandalorian done and getting it done right. Very entertaining. It has the breath of Star Wars in it. And even though Filoni, I can see where he dumbs down scripts a lot, because he's used to writing cartoons. Okay. And so he writes at a very fourth grade level. Not saying that he is mentally at a fourth grade level, but almost all average television is written at a fourth grade level. This is a known fact. I've known it since I was a kid, that writers wrote everything very simple. Everything needed to be spoon-fed to the audience. And that's the way Filoni is. Filoni is also a duplicitous prick. I don't like him. But he has a relationship with George Lucas, and I think he's more afraid of betraying Lucas than he is of Kathleen Kennedy. But he is afraid of betraying Kathleen Kennedy. He wants his job. And, you know, so therefore, you know, I would never trust him by himself. But working with Filoni and answering to Filoni, I felt a lot better, because Filoni really is sort of his boss. And
you mean Jon Favreau?
I meant Favreau. I'm sorry. Favreau is Filoni's boss. And Favreau, I've known for decades that he was a nerd. Because I've seen him in interviews back when he worked on his first film, which I'm a fan of, back in the mid-90s, Swingers. I fucking love that movie. It's one of my favorite films of the 90s. It was so guerrilla, the way they made that film. And if you don't know what that means, I'll explain later. Guerrilla filmmaking is amazing. I've done it. On the swing, cops going by going, what the fuck is going on over there? Get in and get out. That's guerrilla filmmaking. Get in, do your shot, get the fuck out. No permits. That's guerrilla filmmaking. I explained it. There you go. And he did that with Swingers. They shot scenes in that they did not have permission to do. And they got called on by the cops while making it. They were shooting a scene on the highway, and police state trooper fucking pulled up going, hey, what's going on here? And while the director is talking to him, they continued shooting the scene. I love that. So anyway, with Favreau, I had a lot of faith. And so going into Book of Boba Fett, my expectations were very high, only because I knew Favreau loves this character. And even though I did kind of enjoy the first episode, he's got a problem, and it's called a flashback problem. And we need to have somebody fucking edit those shows and put all the flashbacks into one fucking episode and put all the present stuff in the present. It's just, I don't like that kind of filmmaking. I really don't. And when you start doing flashbacks too much, I mean, Family Guy gets away with it because they make fun of their own flashbacks. They're very meta with themselves. Flashbacks are lazy writing. It's a sign of a lazy writer. And I started questioning immediately, who's really writing this? Is this Favreau, or are we seeing signs of, again, something Keith and I have talked about ad nauseum, the Star Wars writing group? Even though Kathleen Kennedy's not in charge, really, they still have power over these scripts. And it's starting to feel like the Star Wars writers group to me. And I think Favreau knew that going into this and was very frustrated. And he's working on multiple stuff at the same time. That's why he was gone for that one episode. He wasn't available, and that's why I just forgot his name. Boba Fett actor. I say his name all the fucking time, and now I'm having a brain fart.
Tamara Morrison.
Yeah, Tamara. He even talks about it in his interview that he tried to take advantage of Favreau not being there and getting the other lead writer in charge to give him permission to give lines to Ming-Na instead of him saying them, because he felt the character talks too much. And it's the same problem that I had with Conan the Barbarian reboot with Jason Momoa, where they have Conan riding around on a horse with this girl talking like a 16-year-old on prom night, just can't shut up. And I'm like, that is not Conan the Barbarian. He's a man of few words. He's a man of action. That's Boba Fett. It's like, why is he talking so damn much? He's supposed to be mysterious. Oh, we got a porn bot. Yes, I did that. Bye, porn bot. There we go. So, and hold on, let me see what you said. Nonlinear storytelling is usually a sign that the story they are giving is boring and they need to keep attention. It could be that, but it's usually just a sign of lazy writing. Because instead of just telling the story through exposition or through the narrative, they go back. And I say, don't go back. Just show that at the beginning of the show. All of that. Get it out of the way, and then keep going in linear storytelling. You don't have to do flashbacks. Or if you're going to do a flashback, do it one fucking time, tell it that story, and then end it. Don't do it every episode of flashback. It's dumb. It's lazy. It's
it almost killed Arrow. I mean, as a television series for CW, those flashbacks pretty much neutered that show, because the first two seasons were great, and then it just went downhill.
I'm not going to agree with you on that, because I hated that it was Batman and not Batman. But again, you are right. Nonlinear storytelling is a sign of bad storytelling. I'll say that. Hold on. What'd you say here? I missed saying hi to you. Oh, well, yeah, got to say hi to Zax. Zax is sick today. Poor Zax. Love you, buddy. But he's in bed, snorting, sniffling, coughing, sneezing, probably farting too. If he gets too sick, he'll shit the bed. Watch. But love you, Zax. Kyle. Hey, Kyle. But the show, look, it's missing the mark. It's completely missing the fucking mark. I didn't mind the escape from the Sarlacc scene. I thought it was good. And the chances of there being a stormtrooper down there, I mean, it eats whatever's in the desert, and there's stormtroopers all over Tatooine. So clearly it's been fed a stormtrooper or two. But I was okay with that. I just felt that it was really rushed. And this is a problem I have with a lot of storytelling, where you rush over the stuff that's important and then take your time with stuff that nobody gives a shit about. And it's like this show kind of feels like that at points. I thought it was interesting because all we've ever seen of Sand People is from the perspective that they're a nuisance, a problem. Nobody's ever taken the time, because every culture, no matter how much of a nuisance they are or problematic they are interesting if you finally go take a microscope to them and look at them. And nobody's ever done that before. And Favreau took a chance and did that. And I kind of liked it. I thought it was a bit silly, heavy-handed at points. Dances with Wolves meets Lawrence of Arabia, you know. And look, man, if you're going to steal from something good, you know. So he did. I'm fine with that too. My problem with the show is, again, the nonlinear storytelling is lazy, and it frustrates the viewer. We want to know where we are at all times. You want to know where you are at all points when you're watching a show. And when you start doing that, it can confuse and confound your viewer. And you don't want to do that. And it's bad storytelling. Zach says, I'm with Keith on Arrow. Shut up, sick guy. You don't know shit. Oh, you want to talk back to me? Well, you can't. You're not in the studio. So, nah. But anyway, I'm saying a lot. Or what's that? The mentally retarded cop on Family Guy. You're the bad guy. Anyway, I could do that all day. I worked with a actor director who did that, and I said, you know, you sound exactly like that guy from Family Guy, because he's a really intelligent dude, but he would say things. I don't want to say his name. You know who it is, Keith. He would turn around and says, "This is going to be a really good scene." I would giggle every time he did it. Anyway, yeah, it's time for me to play this video again. Where's it at? I gotta find it again. This one first.
Well, whatever helps you sleep at night, bitch.
Stop that. It's silly.
Right.
Get on with it.
There you go. I love Monty Python, man. And it's so funny because I raised Zoe on that shit. And here's this young girl walking around doing quotes from Monty Python, and her friends like, the fuck are you talking about? It's just Monty Python, greatest thing ever made. I'm like, that's my baby girl right there. But anyway, they don't know what they're doing, it feels like. And I feel again that this is the Star Wars writer group fucking doing shit. Yeah. And I think that's why Favreau's reacting, because also Favreau's fighting to keep his job, you know, and I know he is. And so when he, you know, Tamron asks that lead writer if they can switch lines, he goes and asks Favreau, who's in Atlanta, and he tells him to read the lines exactly the way they're written. Now, I know Favreau as a director and as a writer, and he is always open to embellishment by actors, good actors. That sounded really fishy to me.
I'm thinking the writers group have been diddling with the scripts.
They're pressuring too.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. He's getting pressure from the writers group, and we need to end that fucking group. That group needs to go the hell away.
I think Susan Arnold is working on that along with a few other people to work these people out of their current positions.
Well, we're going to see. Yes, this is something Keith and I are talking about because of our friendship with Mikey Sutton. We're aware of things that are going on behind the scenes at all the major studios, and we refer to it as the Red Wedding, because the people that were in charge, that were fucking everything up, are about to have their throats cut, and some of them already had their throats cut.
Yeah,
and
this has been a problem since 2016, and that problem is now being handled.
This problem led to you and me doing this show.
Yes. So we're about to see some changes, kids, and according to Mikey Sutton, one of the major changes will be happening ahead of schedule, probably this April. And because
it was supposed to happen in June, but I think it's going to end up happening much earlier because AT&T is getting fucking sick of shit.
Yeah. It's nighttime. It's past 9
about
o'clock.
money.
You should already be in bed.
It's about
and
money.
You're making noises. And up until now, mom has been the one to tell you to keep it down.
And this also goes into our warning that we've already said before. We're going to say it again. And Keith has been beating his chest over this shit. Just because Walter Hamada greenlight shit doesn't mean it's going to fucking happen. Because his job is over. Well, it's supposed to be over in June. But that's the one we're talking about that's going to end probably a lot sooner.
All of these stories that you've heard about upcoming projects.
Greenlit this and greenlit that.
You notice how they've been greenlighting all this stuff? Yeah, that's pre-changeover. So once the new boss comes in,
it's like
a lot of these projects.
It's like a presidential order. People go, President, you can't renege a presidential order. The hell you can't. The next president can. What are you talking about? That's why they're presidential orders. You know, it's for that guy's tenure while he's there. When he's gone, they go 90% of the time they're gone. They're written out.
There's stuff that people say can't happen that they're looking at making happen because people say that they can't do it. The new version of Warner Brothers and the new direction for DC, there's going to be a lot of stuff that will be not gotten rid of. It'll be altered. So those of you that are fans of, say, Birds of Prey, the movie, it's not so much they're going to fire everyone or get rid of those characters. They're just going to undo a lot of the damage that movie did and recast almost all those parts.
Yeah, now I'm going to tell you right now, James Gunn and Peacemaker, I think, are going to be quite safe. Because it's got enough of a fan base that AT&T's like, he's making us money. So we're going to stick to that one.
It'll be the reverse of what you've been seeing. The real DC film universe will be built around something that a lot of DC fans never thought you'd ever see again. And that you will have certain parts of it that are their own thing. Okay, so those of you that are fans of the Batman and what Matt Reeves is doing, he's going to have his own little pocket universe once this is all over. So it's not so much that Robert Pattinson will be replacing a certain Batman actor. It's just that Matt Reeves will have his own little pocket universe to do whatever he wants to do. Okay? That which we have been told is no longer viable will become the main portion of what DC Films will be doing. And that's all I can say without spoiling a whole bunch of stuff. But let's just say the impossible has happened again.
Let's talk about Bob Chapek real quick, too, because I'm no fan of Bob Chapek, because he did not reverse Gina Carano's firing and instead swept it under the carpet. And he tried to ham-fist control the investor meeting where it was clear investors who are also fans were pissed. And he was just, instead he went in and raved about Kathleen Kennedy. Now, Kathleen Kennedy, I understand why he couldn't fire her because she creates a vacuum. And power abhors a vacuum. So she is being kept there, but she's being controlled now. And the way they did that, because Bob Iger fucked up with her, and he knows he did. He knows he fucked up with her. And he tried to use the same method he used with Marvel, with Lucasfilm, giving them all the rope they needed. But he didn't tether the rope on the other end. So, because when you give people rope, you need to give them the rope to where they either succeed with it or they hang themselves with it. And the problem is she should have hanged herself, and instead she's still in charge. So clearly that rope wasn't tethered by Bob Iger. Bad managing Bob Iger. But Chapek comes in and he recognizes the damage, but doesn't really do anything to fix it. But what he did do was he created a buffer to where she has to now go to Disney with every fucking idea she has. And they approve it or say no. That's new. And yes, that is a way of managing her. but it doesn't stop her from having done the damage she's already done. And her writers group is still there, and they need to be managed and slowly dissolved. That needs to be filled with people who are actually fans of Star Wars. Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, all that came before them. Anakin, Annie. I will never call Anakin Annie. Jesus. I love George.
Again,
he's made mistakes. Hold on a second. Let's see. Brett Cohen is here. Hello, my friend. How's it down under, man? How's it down under? And I'm not talking about your underwear. You know what I'm saying. Even a dog on a leash can still bite. You damn Skippy. You damn Skippy. You know.
Oh, Das Wolfen. Das Wolfen, I can't answer that question.
It's happening. There, I stole it from you, Keith. One more white guy stealing shit from a black dude. What's he talking about? I don't know. I'm just race baiting, motherfucker.
I can't confirm any of
it's
that.
It's not like you know, rock and roll didn't, you know, came from the blues or anything. You know, and that the most popular blues musicians were usually white guys for some reason, not Muddy Waters. I'm not saying that. I'm moving. That's why you love me, buddy. Back to the roots of why I did this show is to make him laugh. If only there was a bounty hunter that could disintegrate the story group. I got to tell you something. The best episodes of Boba Fett was The Mandalorian. Those were like Christmas episodes of The Mandalorian. I'm like, this is not Boba Fett. This is Mandalorian. And they were fucking great. And I got to tell you, man, they were better than the Mandalorian episodes. Yeah. They did better Mandalorian episodes in Boba Fett than they did in The Mandalorian.
Well, you know, one particular episode of Boba Fett pretty much was like, you know, it's fan service. They should have just called the episode fan service. Because that's exactly what it was.
What it was. And I fucking loved it, though. I mean, they went PG-13 with him taking that black saber and cutting that guy in half on camera.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. Because here's what we were aware of early on with the deal with Disney buying 20th Century Fox was that Hulu was going to be where they would put their heavier, darker sci-fi Star Wars stuff and Marvel. But they're not doing it. They're not doing it. They're putting it on Disney Plus. And I'm kind of surprised by that. It's like because that really should have been on Hulu. But
well, it's the realization that while Disney Plus grew and sold a lot, here's what has happened. They've looked at the numbers.
Well, they shrunk. They shrunk when they fired.
They
Gina.
did shrink.
They lost.
They haven't grown as much to overtake Netflix like a lot of people were thinking. Netflix.
They're not even halfway there. They're like,
and so
both you and I saw those the bars showing where everybody is at. Amazon and Netflix are just killing. Well, Netflix number one, number two is Amazon. Hulu actually has a larger subscribership than Disney Plus, and that's why I think they've decided to just keep it separate.
And the service that grew the most was HBO Max.
HBO Max, but they're hurting too. They're still hurting, and
yeah, they are.
They grow. Well, first of all, it was a huge mistake calling it HBO Max. You and I made fun of that when they announced it. It's like we're going to put the entire Warner Brothers catalog onto a new streaming service called HBO Max. And I'm like, that does not say Warner Brothers. I'm like, what the? I hope that somebody took that person out with that idea and pistol whipped them in the alley for having done that. I think that was really bad. I think it was a bad idea. Warner is a very respected studio. HBO is not. Warner has 70 years of fucking history in Hollywood and making movies. And HBO is like just a channel.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But you know what? That'll probably be part of what will be handled once the big changeover happens.
Should have been Warner Brothers Max or Warner Brothers Plus. Warner Plus. I don't care. It should have been one of those. Not Jesus Christ, HBO Max. So what's this mean? We get to watch Skinamax kind of movie? Yeah? Fucking HBO Max. Jesus Christ. I really do hope they pistol whip that motherfucker. By the way, Pop Culture Minefield does not support the opinion of Gary Casella. He's a fucking dickhead. So,
and you're right, Gus Wolfman. Peacock is at the very bottom, and that's the reason why you keep hearing rumors of Paramount getting sold. Whoever buys Paramount, you got.
And I like Paramount Plus. I like Paramount Plus because I get to watch classic Star Trek. In fact, I had to do a half-hour survey yesterday for Paramount. Half an hour survey. I was getting frustrated, but I answered every fucking question. And one of the questions was, do you like access to these shows? Do you think representation is important? No. And then I confused them by stating I'm indigenous as my race. And that'll confound them because I'm from here. I'm from America. I'm indigenous, you cocksuckers. People don't, they use the word indigenous. They don't know what it fucking means, really. They really don't know what it means. That means you're from that place. Yes. Not your fucking family. You are indigenous. People are so stupid today. I swear to God. But bottom of the barrel with Peacock. Yeah, Peacock shouldn't exist. They just need an NBC fucking free streaming, because originally that was their idea, was they would free stream everything with commercials. And now they put a fucking lock and key on it. You got to pay to get that. Fuck you. There's when every fucking network is making you pay for their service, people will just go back to watching TV if you're not careful.
I think we're almost there.
Yeah, that's why
you're spending more money now to basically get what 20 years ago you got as part of a cable package and cheaper.
Well, Peacock is a failure. Peacock is a failure because of that. I got to tell you, I like Paramount Plus because it's got classic shows. They put a lot. I Love Lucy's on there, man. In fact, 3 of her shows are on there. And I watch all of them because I loved watching Lucy as a kid. And although the one Lucy I want to see isn't on there, and that's the series where she had Arnold Schwarzenegger made his first TV appearance on when he was a plumber.
Again, it's all great. No matter what you want to see on that, whether it be Lucy or Hawaii Five-0.
I got to tell you real quick. What's important about Paramount Plus is what you select to watch to add to your watching, and what you watch impacts those shows. And I tell fans all the time, if you want to do damage to the current brand of Star Trek, you do not select it. You do not add it to your viewing, and you don't watch anything on Paramount Plus belonging to that version of Star Trek. And it hurts them. It actually is, it creates numbers for Paramount to look at.
Even saying the name of the full show helps them. That's the reason why I call it K-Trek.
Yeah, or STD.
Or STD.
Look, the fact is JJ, people go, well, JJ's not involved. Yes, he is. He is involved with, Kurtzman directly. And Kurtzman is using JJ's version of Star Trek to do everything. This is the JJ verse, or as they call it, the Kelvin universe. Idiots who say, well, the new Star Trek show is going to be Prime. That's not a real thing. It's either canon or it's Kelvin. It's either canon or it's Kelvin. The Prime was created by JJ and Kurtzman to explain away when we're using stuff that's close to canon but not canon. Yeah. Spock,
it was a legal
Spock,
thing.
including with Leonard Nimoy, is not canon Spock. That is Prime Spock, and Kelvin, a mix.
Mm-hmm. I see. Now you have Kelvin Trek. When I say K Trek, I usually call that Kurtzman Trek.
Yeah, Kurtzman Trek, and Kurtzman is J.J. Abrams. It's all the same, and they all need to go away. The problem is Sherry Redstone, our greatest disappointment, because we expected her to clean house, and when she came in, she found out that Les Moonves had fucked them with giving Kurtzman the greatest contract in the history of television. That they would make him the wealthiest man, and it would break the bank to get rid of him.
I need that contract. That's the contract I'd like.
Yeah, WWE is woke now. One of the W's is woke. Woke wrestling. I can't fucking stand them. I cannot stand it now. This is not the wrestling we grew up on. Gary's simping for Lucille Ball. It is true. I'm a big Lucille Ball fan. Always have been.
How can you not?
You know, without Lucy and Desi, we wouldn't have Star Trek or Mission Impossible. They made that.
Repeat that. No. Repeat that again, Gary. That way everybody can hear.
Okay. Once again, we would not have Star Trek or Mission Impossible or repeat television reruns, as they were called. That was created by Desi. Desi was the one who called them reruns. Know your history. And Desi started reruns because CBS wanted the rights to I Love Lucy to show again. And they said, well, we want to have the syndication and rights, and and he created the term reruns. When you have reruns, CBS was like, what the fuck is a rerun? And he explained, when you re-air a show. Went, oh, and he got control for him and Lucy over reruns. And when they created Mission Impossible, or I should say greenlit Mission Impossible and Star Trek. They benefited greatly. The problem is, what's his name? Their partner sold it to Paramount, CBS. Mm-hmm. And so she wasn't making a fortune anymore off of Star Trek and Mission Impossible. It was all going to Paramount, CBS. But, and you can always tell what version of Mission Impossible or Star Trek you're watching if you watch it on Paramount, because it ends with the Desi
Lou.
Yeah, logo, or it goes to the Paramount logo. And what you
Paramount,
see,
a Gulf Western company.
The first 2 seasons of Mission Impossible were Desi Lou, and I think it was only season 1 of Star Trek. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's when the deal was done. So, and I'm a big fan of Mission Impossible. Every day I watch Mission Impossible every fucking day. I don't miss it a day when I don't watch it. I go to sleep watching it. I wake up to it.
Notice how CBS has yet to do anything with that, even though they have it. They could work a deal with Tom Cruise.
Absolutely Tom Cruise. He's stopping him from doing it.
They could work a deal with him to get Tom Cruise to authorize a television series, a return to television for Mission Impossible. And notice they don't want to do it because they know that that's even more money going out the door.
Well, they worry that that's money that they're going to lose for the movies.
Well, that they're going to lose for Star Trek. Because Star Trek is the biggest deal that is costing them the most money that they're not getting a major return on. You make money depending on how much money you spend. And
she knows.
You make.
I go to sleep and wake up to Mission Impossible every day.
You can make a lot of money if you spend a lot of money on a particular IP. They have been spending so much money making the current K-Trek universe happen, even though the ratings aren't there. They're not selling as much merchandise. They're spending so much money. And after signing that big deal also with the people that do South Park, to make another major deal with someone who's going to take even more money would almost kill K-Trek for CBS. And they don't want to do it. because they enjoy sticking it to certain fans.
Well,
That's fine. They can do whatever they want. But after Warner Brothers and Disney solve their problems, you know what's going to happen next. A lot of that money that CBS and Paramount are making is going to dry up because both of their competitors will have solved their problems.
Well, I want to go back to something that's important here. That creating quality television is what creates or generates potential reruns. And yes, Desi Arnaz named rerun on What's Happening, technically. But going back is, quality television shows like I Love Lucy is still watched. Here's 60 years later, man. People still watch that fucking show and love it. And these aren't all old people. Young people enjoy it too. It's fun. And you create a quality show like that, that's what happens. And they knew that. Very smart going into it. I want Ricky Ricardo to check it. And once again, my wife confirms that I sleep and wake up to Mission Impossible because I like the dreams that it generates with me. I have great dreams when I go to sleep to Mission Impossible. Mr. Spock was, yes, he was. So Shatner. Shatner was in after Nimoy left the show, though, sadly.
Yeah.
He was in the final season, and they did it. I love it because they used the same set they used in A Piece of the Action in Star Trek, where he plays a mobster, where they de-age him and inject stuff into his joints so he doesn't hurt, and they make him go back in time. The whole episode is faking going back in time to trick him into showing where he hid money. And it's a great fucking episode. I love Mission Impossible, man. That's some good shit. So Gary has a short fuse. I've always had it. People who know me personally know that my fuse is right here. And people who have fucked with me learned really quickly. I go from smiling to violence very quickly if you push the wrong buttons with me. And sometimes that's verbal violence. Where I don't know, where
You pompous, stuck-up, snot-nosed, English, giant, twerp, scumbag, fuckface, dickhead, asshole.
Yeah, that's me. And
one of my favorite St. Louis actors.
Yes, Kevin Kline. But basically, we enjoy this stuff. We like talking about it. We needed to go into something else we were supposed to talk about is some of these changes that are occurring. And but we'll save that for another episode. I do want to tell you guys, please comment down below the video. Comment down below, not just in the chat. Go down. And if you want us to look at shows and talk about shows, I don't care from the past or present, this is the show where we're going to do that. So get down there in the comments and let us know what you'd like us to talk about. And leave it there because I always check comments on the videos. And I want to know what you guys want us to talk about on the show. Would love to know. Mission Impossible Every Night, Gary, is the mildest form of autism I've ever seen. I am OCD, dude. But what I like about, because I used to do, one of the shows I used to go to sleep to and wake up to was Lost in Space, too. But the problem is the app that's on doesn't continually play. It'll stop and ask, are you still watching? And I dislike that. Pluto doesn't do that. Pluto keeps playing all night long. So and Mission Impossible is one of my favorite shows. So because the first 3 seasons are available on Pluto, they keep cycling every 72 hours through the first 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And next Saturday, Pat, if you've got anything you want us to talk about, man, post it down in the comments, brother. I mean, after all, you're a producer of the show. We have to do it. Deanna says, Brett Cohen, not a short fuse. He has a long fuse with a bunch of little firecrackers on the way to the pub. Yeah. I
Even making you sound manly, it sounds cute.
She's heard everybody, like Keith's heard me get irritated when I get irritated. Jace has heard me get fucking irritated. Everybody Fat Steven has, I love that guy. He's my brother. But even I yelled at him a couple of times behind the scenes because I get irritated with things. And, but that's because people think, oh, it's just because you get old. No, I've always fucking been this way. I was more quiet when I was younger because I would internalize that shit. But when I hit my 30s, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going to internalize this shit anymore. I don't want to have a stroke because you fucking irritated me. So I started speaking my mind. And people are like, God damn. So I shoot from the hip and speak my mind and say things that I'm thinking about. I'm not
just don't task them.
I mean, don't task me. But it's pure honesty. I'm absolutely, I'm all about candor, and I don't lie to people. You ask me a question, I'm going to tell you the truth, even if it makes me look bad. And I've looked bad a lot.
Make me look? No.
Yeah, does this shirt make me look fat? No, your fat makes you look fat. Yes, we're going to talk about Vox Machina, and of course, Deanna, my wife, is going to pre-record a review of that show for next week. So we're going to have Deanna's opinion on it, and I'll give my opinion because I watch it with her. And I'm not going to say what I think. I'm not going to say what I think. I'll save it for next week. He tasked me to answer. And of course, I get that because Keith heard me say it many, many a time.
You do not need to defeat him again. He tasks me. He tasks me. And
I walk around doing movie quotes all the fucking time. I'll say something to people and it just goes over their head. They don't realize I just did a movie quote and they're answering what they said. I like doing that. But yeah, we're at the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for coming. Please, if you got an idea of something you want us to talk about, put it in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you're not already a member, please become a member of our channel. It's really helping us. Right now, we don't have enough to collect monthly. That's the thing. I collect every 3 months, and so I'm still paying out of pocket for a lot of stuff for the show. But eventually, we're going to get enough members and enough chat stuff to where we can pay for these things. I'm afraid of monetizing our episodes because that's when it gets dangerous, that you get under the yoke of YouTube. Well, I feel we're more free to do our show without monetizing our episodes. But we are monetizing a few of the older episodes, but yeah, what's that going to do? Nothing. So we were like,
we still can't afford the backup dancers.
Yep. Yeah. Eventually we'll get that and probably be able to shoot on in the same room again. Because I miss that when Keith and I were sitting together doing the show. Right? It's end. I got it wrong. It ends up I must answer. What's he referring to?
I have no idea. Hey, Dust Wolfen.
You lost us, Dust Wolfen. Wait. He tasked me and I must answer. I got it wrong. It ends up I must answer. Okay, now I get it. Okay. Yeah, she's not going to lie about stuff I do. Yeah. So we're at the end of the episode. Brett Cohen. God damn you. Thank you. For you, what do I have? Do I have a new video? I love the ball.
Too bad we can't do the whole opening sequence dance, or at least part of it from Peacemaker.
Okay, here's one. I like this one a lot. Brett, I don't know if you're a big fan of Monty Python. I am. So here's a little Monty Python for you.
And here is the neighbor who told us where they were.
That's where I learned my non sequitur humor, Monty Python. Thank you so much for the $10, brother. You know, as this gets better and better, we grow, because we haven't been trying to grow the show until this year. Now we're pushing to grow the show, and we're going to get there one day. One day we're going to have indoor plumbing, mister. I'll tell you right now.
Action barely. Oh, no, I can't do that.
Thanks for the super sticker, brother. Yeah, Deanna's laughing because of where we're moving, and I'm not happy. Anyway.
Yeah, but we'll have room for the backup dancers.
Love you, baby. But sawdust toilets is fucking stupid. Yeah, I don't want to get into it. It's more earthy. No. No. I'm like that scene from Cop Out with what's his name from SNL. He's no way, no.
No.
And Deanna thought that was funny. And who doesn't like Python? There's a lot of people, dude. When I was a kid, a lot of my friends knew of it, and they were like, "I don't like it. It's weird." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And it's half the reason why I'm fucked up and weird is growing up on that kind of shit. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching the show today. Man, thanks, Monkey Jeebus. Really, I wanted to get into that today because I really did enjoy the Mando episodes. And seeing Luke again, I don't give a shit what other people say. I fucking loved it. Being voiced by Mark Hamill. And they hired the guy from Quarter Crew, who is doing a lot of their swapping face effects.
Oh, geez, that stuff is good.
He is so much better, and they need to go back and fix the first appearance of Luke. Let him fix it.
Because this recent thing that they did,
very photorealistic,
way better than what they had on the Mandalorian.
Yes.
So,
very good stuff. I enjoyed that, and I'm hoping that we start picking up with Boba Fett, because Boba Fett needs to start feeling like Boba Fett. You know, and
he may need to have some disintegrations.
I love Tamura. I love him. I'm a big fan of his. I've seen almost all of his movies outside of Star Wars.
Yeah. Isn't he almost, isn't he about 60?
He is 62. He's 62. And he's playing a guy 20 years younger. And they could pull that off if they wanted to. You know, and one of the things they hide is through the scars. We're supposed to help hide it, like the way they did with Luke, with Mark, when his face got fucked up from the automobile accident between Star Wars and Empire. Yeah. And it fucked his face up. And so they added that injury with the Wampa, explaining it away. So, but anyway, I'm going to keep fucking talking. So with Keith, because that's what we do. Thank you guys for watching the show today. We almost went 2 hours, and I don't want to do 2 hours. I want to do an hour and a half. But we want to thank you for watching the show. Hope you tune in next week. Please leave a comment about what you want us to talk about next week. But until then, here's our credits, man. Have a great weekend. Happy Saturday. See you next time.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please remember to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Remember, you can find us at Pop Culture Minefield on both Facebook and Instagram. Thank you again.